Hi guys, welcome to another episode of The Aspiring Entrepreneur. I'm your host Hamza Chowdhury, and welcome to today's daily recap. It's March 15th. It is Monday, and I hope you guys had a wonderful trading day and an awesome trading day. The markets were up today, and we kind of had a little momentum going into the morning. We had the gap up that we talked about yesterday and what that would do for some of the stocks that we cover in our Sunday update video. With that said, guys, I will go over Apple, Tesla, Palantir. I'll go over Clover Health and a few other stocks that I traded today just to share some ideas and some thoughts and some follow-ups of things that I've said in the past. With that said, guys, as always, I appreciate if you do hit the like and subscribe button. We are a 100% free content channel. Anything that you do, especially with the likes, definitely helps motivate me to keep going with these sort of videos to help you guys, as well as, it's a good reflection of myself and my trading habits. With that said, guys, just to jump right in, I'll start off with just a SPY in general. We were up. We did, sort of have a sell-off kind of coming in the morning. We had the gap up that we talked about we would have possibly Friday, and then we had the sell-off, and then we just sort of gapped up, and now you can see a lot of volume coming in. Of course, we talked about the stimulus is hitting people's banks accounts, so we're hitting at all-time highs again, and so it's always good to see, guys, that we bounced off this 50-day when people really thought the markets were tanking. Okay, and you can see these long wicks were really people coming in and essentially the buyer stepping in, and now you can see the volume has kind of even died down in the SPY. Okay, and so the SPY, again, keep in mind, is the ETF of the S&P. Okay, and so for Apple, solid buy. I mentioned on Friday that I was trading here at the 119.60 level. We have a DAP play here at 120, and I mentioned anything between 118 and 120 to me was just a safe play, considering Apple was definitely showing a reversal trend. And you can see this bullish engulfing candle that we've had today, so you can see we're making higher highs and higher lows. And so Apple, guys, first thing, we've identified these levels on this channel. So 123. Okay, so we hit that. You can see that we were closing below it. We faded off of that, but we were still trading above this fast moving SMA line, and then you can see we just broke that right here in the last couple hours of trading. Okay, and now we're sort of having a stronger close. And so for Apple, it's up for the day, and we've recovered a lot of the losses that we had the last few days where, it was down based on the fact that it was running out of parts, or it couldn't find the parts to manufacture the iPhone. And so, guys, again, it's going to be one of the strongest stocks. It's one of the tech stocks that have been totally beaten down from the recent high of 145 up here. Okay, and so again, at the minimum, if you are dip buying and you're buying low here, a lot of my plays will be selling into the 50, or even if you want to be bullish and sort of out earlier, some of these you can get out at the 20, but the 50-day for sure, which is 130. The 20-day looks like we just hit that today at 124. Okay, and so for Apple, same thing, guys. We've identified the level, so the next level is 125. What we want to do is see a bounce and validation of this level at 123. It can break, that's fine, but as long as we close above 123, and we could at least test the highs of 125. Okay, so this will be the next chain of where I see the stock going. For Tesla, basically Tesla was solid. I mean, we mentioned 695. We've had the 695 level for a long time, and guys, it's been great to us. No surprise, right, that we were going to bounce off of it and validate it as a support. And so 717 was the level that we started to fail right here at the 720 level. So I wasn't surprised that we got back up here into the 710, 715s and sort of traded off of that. But again, this stock is completely giving us the bullish engulfing candle, definitely a higher highs and higher lows. And then we talked about how the momentum has shifted to positive. And so, guys, it's been a complete stock. I know people who got this dip buy back in the 500s, and I mentioned this, way back here, that I saw this thing going back to 700s after earnings. And one of the things, guys, to note, always keep in mind is, where are the buyers? If the volume here is dead, and there's not a lot of people buying Tesla up at the 800s, look how many people will come in here and pick it up at 5, 6s, right? And so you have all these people literally just sitting there like, wow, I can get Tesla at a 15, 20, 30, 40% discount, and they step in, and then you can see here, we quickly reverse, okay? And so again, for a lot of people who play the momentum breakout trades, if you're holding on to any even longs, this would be the easy play here, is to get at least back to the 50-day, which again intersects one of our resistance lines at 775, and that's been a play I've been mentioning pretty much back here. Okay, so 775 is still a play, and for me personally, I'll be looking up here to get back up here in the high 8s before I sell my shares. Okay, so I am swinging long Tesla. Palantir, same thing, guys. We've identified the level. I mentioned it in yesterday's video that we would see the market gap up, and the first thing we'd do is hit 2750. And so you can see right when the market opened, the high here of this candle is 2747, and you can go back, the last time we hit this level, guys, was way back here right here, and you can see the high here was 20, what was it, 27, where was it? I think it was, yeah, it was like, yeah, this candle right here, 27, I believe it was, yeah, it was 27.40. Can't even get my cursor here. It was this guy here, 27.46. Okay, and so I had that number in my mind when it doesn't hit 27.50, because they obviously don't want people to get short at that level, and so they do that on purpose. But you know, pre-market we were trading above it, but you know, the market's really what you want to look at, and so no surprise, 27.50, and I continue to expect that to be the level. And of course, we had a lot of support here in the high 26s, and that's pretty much where we traded, just sideways most of the day. You can see we just pretty much traded sideways, and so no surprise, 25.50 has been validated, 27.50 is our resistance. So definitely we'll test it again, and same thing as Apple. We can see it test again, fade off, and then break through with significant volume. Remember, if there's no significant volume, it's just going to fade off, okay? So you need volume. And so what you see here is that push, the rejection, and then you can see the volume dies off, okay? So you can't get through these sort of resistance levels without a real push, right, to break through that, okay? With that said, guys, Clover, another solid buy. Let me pause. So with this said, let's see, we'll do Clover. Clover was awesome as well. We validated the 815 level. I mentioned that the next resistance was 925. And so again, you know, the sell-off happened, followed the S&P, and then you can see that we kind of came back up and then sort of faded down. And so, you know, same plays again, guys, is, you know, 925. We do have positive momentum. We're clearly off the RSI, and you can see we're making higher highs and higher lows. And so tomorrow I could see the 925, and then of course, like I mentioned before, my play here is to get back up here closer to the 1050, and this is where I'll be selling my shares. And you know, it's an easy play, it's stress-free. I admire anybody who was able to dip buy even additional shares here, because like I mentioned, I was buying in the low 9s before I got involved in the stock. Okay, and so as always, guys, you know, 925 will be the next level that we're looking at, and we got close. I think we got to like 910 today. That was the high, it was like 908, and so we'll get there. And so I want to do some of the stocks that aren't necessarily stocks that we just cover on the update, but I mentioned, and one of the things I mentioned was space. Great buy, guys. I was looking from the start of the day, always have a trade plan for what you want to trade, how you want to trade, what levels you want to trade, and then just put alerts. And so let me show you what an alert looks right here. Look, right here, space. And so I had a space alert that went off that told me, hey, look, it's crossing 34.45. In my buy zone, you can see here, I have a note, buy space at 34 long. And that's what I did. Okay, so I bought space long at 34, which was this level right in here. And it just, you know, again, it looked weak, and so you could scalp play, you know, 20, 30, I think there was up to 50 cents when it got up here to 34.50. And so there was several, I think I did probably about 3 rounds of just buying, selling, scalping, which, guys, I love. As you know, on my channel, I'm always a scalper. I love just day trading. I'm not a big fan of swinging, just because of the unknowns in the market. And so, you know, same thing here is I sold, and then I also sold in this push. And so 34 was a solid level, guys. It was just, you know, it showed strong, and I waited. You know, it tested the pre-market high here of 36, and some people would say, well, why would you wait for 34? Because I'm waiting for that flush. I'm waiting for that discount. When people are panicking, people are selling, I'm waiting for that. And literally, if it doesn't come, guess what? Who cares? You go on to something else. But you got to get comfortable and accept. And guess what? Even if this thing tanked to 33, I wouldn't have any regrets, because that was part of my plan. And so as long as you have a plan of where you want to buy and what levels you like, then it makes the most sense, right? That you're comfortable with what you're buying. And so that worked out well. And, you know, same thing here, guys. I expect this to, you know, where the 20 and 50 are essentially meeting 38, 39 is what I said. You could probably hold on to it for. Same thing. You have the reversal. You have the bounce off the 200 and the anchored VWAP. And so, again, easy play to 38, 39 if you want to hold swing this. And you can see it just, I mean, it just went up to 35 in after hours, which is awesome. I mean, this thing was just down here at the, I'm going to reset this. It was literally just at 34, okay, a couple hours ago. So solid dollar play for somebody. I did want to mention Penn. The reason why is, you guys probably heard on Friday, the S&P inclusion. And if you remember Tesla, if you guys go back to Tesla that day, it went up from, I think it was like 415, 410, all the way up to like 440, 480, 460, somewhere in there, 460. And so what these stocks do is they gap up on the news of the S&P, and then they obviously make a clear top. And so here you can see in the post-market and the pre-market, the clear top here for Penn was 142. Again, not showing too early to the party. You know, you let the buyers in. Don't let this be your money. And so what I did, as I waited, and so I waited for this sort of high to be created, and then once I saw this candle, okay, so remember guys, this is an engulfing candle, right? So when you get this massive price reduction, you obviously see the jump in volume. It's not a small bar, right? So there's people selling, so they pump, they sell it, and then I saw this double top right here. This is when I started to short, and literally in 20 seconds I was up 70 cents. And then you would say, well, you're a scalper, you were probably out. The answer is yes, I was out. But should I have been out when clearly there was much bigger meat to the bone? Okay, and I mentioned to you guys personally, that's something I'm working on, which is trusting the trade, not necessarily taking it all out. I went pretty heavy up here. I could have easily taken a piece out and sort of worked my way, and then just covered when I got validation of a crossover on the Bollinger Band and on the fast moving average. Okay, so it's something I'm working on, but there was definitely, you know, 5 more points to the bone, but it was such an easy and quick trade, and kind of like that in the morning, right? This is the first 10 minutes, so you're kind of in and out, you're onto something else. But again, you should let the trade work for yourself, especially if you have that plan. But my plan was coming into today to go short Penn, not to go long on the news. Now tomorrow might be a different story. Tomorrow we may see a recovery of some of these levels, right? So we try to push, but I can see definitely a retest of some of these high 130s, low 140 tests tomorrow. No problem. Okay. And like I said, this comes from chart reading, guys. This comes from literally just sitting there watching charts hours and hours. I spend thousands of hours every year watching these charts, and I would recommend that to you. It doesn't matter if you're trading or not trading. Literally just sit there and watch what happens when S&P news happens. Okay, that's a good thing for the stock, because now, you know, as you know probably from Tesla, all the big guys have to buy it, right? All these funds, and they have to buy it, and so the stock obviously goes up. But the first day one, you have this massive gap, and then it just sells off, right? People just profit take, and so that's why I came in with short bias. Okay, but tomorrow could totally flip to long bias. AI, guys, just money. I mean, I mentioned yesterday's video, I was, you know, probably putting myself out there saying, hey guys, I'm coming in short biased, and some people probably say, why? Like, why would you be short biased on a stock that just gapped up? But looking at these levels, which levels did I know I wanted to cover? And it was this level here, right here around this pivot around 87. And so I was short biased. I covered on the flushes, and then I just started going long. I mean, you can see that you go long and you see these highs and lows are like $2-3. And so this is a highly sort of algo controlled stock. Trades very kind of random, and it's out there, and you have to really be careful with size and which levels you're getting in. But I covered my short in the morning, and I went long bias the rest of the day, guys. Didn't even short after the morning cover, and literally I had to pause this video because I have been scalping 50-60 cent moves on the stock all day. I think I did literally 4 rounds of that today. So this was actually my biggest winner today. It was just longing AI. And again, the funny thing about longing a stock is most traders would say, wait a minute, how did you make money on a stock that went from $92 to 86? Guys, this is why I like day trading, okay? Because yes, if you're long AI, today would again be a day where you'd say, wait a minute, I'm actually down for like 3.5%. How are you up? Well, I'm up because I was shorting, so I play both sides of the trade. But more importantly, when I see these sort of wicks, I also, you know, go in for the right up back to the top to retest some of the tops, right? So we have clearly a top here, right, which ended up being resistance here at the $90 level. And then we just got more of a flush, and this was to me just a bargain, because now we're trading below what I thought was strong support here at this pivot at 87. And so we were down here, I was doing the same thing, buying at 86, and it ended up being going down as low as 85.80. So guys, this was actually a really fun stock to trade, even though it's liquid, but it's not highly liquid. It's 5 million shares, which I guess you consider, but it's very controlled by the algos. And the last stock, guys, I want to cover real quick is Chek. You know, made a lot of news. It's a $1.50 stock that goes up to $4.50 on news of a merger. And same thing, guys, that, you know, don't go if you're short, which I usually am short bias when I see stocks overextended a lot of times, but I wait for validation. You can see it's just uptrending, right? So if you're shorting, you're getting blown out. So what do I do is if I'm going to short a stock like this, I'm waiting closer to open and kind of looking for this, say, okay, you know, how overextended are we? And so you can see we got all the way up to 450 before we started to fade. And so I covered, and again, this was just a morning trade. I covered probably like somewhere down here. But you can see that had I held, because I covered, yeah, it was like 380 as when I covered. So it was like somewhere down here. And so you can see that quickly you got a retest, okay, and it failed. And so you could actually get these 20-30 cent moves, guys, within seconds or minutes and just keep fading them off, okay? And then where's your stop? Your stop always is going to be the pre-market high, okay, which is this guy here. And so you already had the test at open, And once that failed, which is the 450, that's your stop. Okay, so again, nothing wrong with being wrong. You know, we saw ENTX, we saw a lot of stocks that just blew out and went to halts. So you got to have a risk plan. So your risk plan is always going to be the pre-market high, and it gets you out, no problem. Okay, but you know what you're risking against versus, you know, potentially getting the circuit halts. And so it just faded all day, and of course it held this level. And so I could see tomorrow it coming up possibly to about 350 and just fading off again. So it was an easy trade. It was fun. I actually enjoyed this one. All right, guys, this was kind of a longer video. Hopefully you guys made it through. As always, appreciate you and wish you the best of luck, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye-bye.